Chapter 7 Lessons in Emptiness. For the three koans with comments and verses of Tran Thai Tong, 1218, 1277. Translated for the first time by Thich Nhat Hanh. Tran Thai Tong was the first king of the Tran dynasty, 1225-1400 in Vietnam. He practiced Zen while reigning. At 41 years old of age, he gave up the throne to his son Thich Nhat Hanh and devoted himself to the full-time practice of Zen. He was the author of two books, the thirteenth-century Guide to Zen and the Hoa Lesson in Emptiness. The 43 commands presented here are taken from his later book. Questions and answers by way of introduction. One day when the emperor was visiting a pagoda of Chen Yao, Tong Đức Thành put this riddle to him. Whose honor one was already born in the palace of King Shodana. Even before having left to see the heaven, he had fulfilled the vow to save all living beings. Even before he left his mother's womb, what is the meaning of this? The emperor replied, all rivers reflect the moon in their water. Where there is a cloud, the blue sky is seen. A monk asked, those not yet liberated need instruction. What about those already liberated? The emperor replied, the clouds that form at the summit of Nhất mountain are pure white. The water that flowed into the river Till are clear blue. Another monk inquired, when clouds arrive, the color of the mountains becomes soft. When the clouds depart, the water becomes lighter. Why is it said that the hidden and the revealed are the same? The emperor replied, is there no one besides my own descendants who dare to walk blindfolded? A monk said, the way is one-pointed. All the enlightened beings are on the way to the one true source. Why do you think that only Lord Buddha can find the road? The emperor replied, spring rain water all the plants equally, and yet the flowering branches are long or short. A monk asked, each person possesses his own perfectly enlightened nature. Why did the world honest one have to go into the forest to realize the way? The emperor replied, because of injustice, the soul is drawn from its set. Because of illness, medicines are taken out of their jars. A monk said, no longer allowing the dust to get into one's eyes, no longer bring one the itches by scratching the skin. Such is my vision of the way. Do you think that I have got something? The emperor replied, water that flows down the mountain doesn't think that it's flowed down the mountain. The cloud that leaves the valley doesn't think that it leaves the valley. The monk remained silent. The emperor continued, don't you think that non-thinking itself is the way? Non-thinking is very far from the way. The monk replied, if it is really a question of non-thinking, how one is able to say that it is far or near? The emperor said, the water that flows down the mountain doesn't think that it flows down the mountain. The clouds that leave the valley doesn't think that it leaves the valley. 1. The case. The world honor one was already born in the palace of King Suhodana, even before having left Tushita heaven. He had fulfilled the vow to save all living beings, even before he left his mother's womb. Commentary. The identity of the knight is revealed before his soul is drawn from the Seth. Verse. A small child who doesn't possess even the form of a body, leaving his village at midnight for the first time, making his people cross the seas and visit distant countries without the help of either boat or raft, he meets no obstacle. 2. Case. The world-honored one has just been born, with one hand pointing to the sky, the other to the earth. He said, in heaven and earth, I alone am the world-honored one. Commentary. But one white cloud passes by the grotto, and 1,000 birds stray far from their nest. Verse. Siddhartha should have revealed his true identity when he was born in Suddhodana's palace. He took 7 steps and with his hands pointed to heaven and earth. Because of this obscene gesture, who knows how many disciples were lost? 3. Case. The world-honored one held up a flower to the assembly. Mahakasyap's face is transformed. He smiles. Commentary. Open your eyes and look carefully. 1,000 mountain ranges separate the one who reflects from the one who is truly present. Verses. While looking at the flower that the world-honored one raised in his hand, Mahakasyapa found himself suddenly at home. To call that transmission of the essential Dharma is to say that for him alone, the chariot shaft is adequate transport. 4. Case. A philosopher asked the Buddha to neither speak nor be silent. Commentary. Only my own descendants could dare to walk blindfolded. Verse. Is it not how difficult it is to shut the prison door? Words and speech disappear, no support remains. If it is not a good horse, how can it succeed? 5. Case. The world-honored one takes up his seat. Manjuri invited the bell to sound and announced, listen to the Dharma of the Dharma King. The Dharma King's Dharma is thus. Commentary. On the zither without strings, the music of spring is playing. Its notes are heard throughout space and time. Verse. Each word is impeccable, but one sees a tailpiece that cannot be hidden. Here is a flute without holes, playing the universe song of peace. 6. Case. Sword in hand, the emperor of the Tang kingdom interrogate the 24 ancestral teacher. Are you clear about the emptiness of the 5 skandhas? Aggregate. Yes, replies the teacher. Have you crossed over birth and death? Yes, he replies. Can you give me your hat? This body doesn't belong to me, how much less this hat? The emperor beheads him. White milk gushes from the severed hat. The emperor's arms fall. Commentary. The sword at the neck of the knight beheads the spring breeze. Verse. The sharp blade sweeps through the air like lightning. When we are aware of it, we have nothing to fear. We will depart this morning and leave the country of waters and mist. but no one can be sure a thought isn't still hidden beneath. Case 7. Case. Great Master Bodhidharma goes to the Thieu Lam Pagoda at Lạc Dương. For 9 years he sits facing the wall. Commentary. Watch out, don't just sleep. Verse. The giant bird has gone thousands of miles to reach the southern sea, and then regret the long distance traveled. Last night we drank too much at the great festival. This morning it's difficult to wake up. 8. Case. The second ancestral teacher begged Bodhidharma to pacify his mind. Bodhidharma says, "Show me your mind, and I will pacify it for you." The second teacher replies, "I have looked and looked, but I cannot find it." Bodhidharma answers, "Your mind has been pacified." Commentary. Crowned with garlands, the 3-year-old child plays the drum. The 80-year-old man plays the violin. Verses. If mind is not mind, who can we ask for advice? Is it possible to become fetters again? The old monk who thinks he can calm the mind of another. It's just mocking everyone around him, and he doesn't even know it. 9. Case. Manchuri notices a woman sitting in a tent near the Buddha. He tries to wake her up, but in vain. The Buddha then asks for a woman to wake her up, and he does it in just one stroke. Commentary. This honor has destroyed my whole fortune. Verse. Facing Buddha, no discrimination is possible. The trance doesn't appear to be real. If nature doesn't pick or choose, when spring comes here, it must be spring everywhere. 10. Case. During the 30 years of the whole war, Master Mato Dao Nhất never lacked for salt or soy sauce. Commentary. This declaration is impeccable, but the challenge is to eat without your finger while holding on to your chopstick. Verse. Since becoming the friend of a drunkard, he has taken the liquor store as his home. When you brag about being a great knight, you play forever the role of a man without a shirt. 11. Case. Batung returns to Mato for another interview. Mato lets out a yell. Batung is enlightened. Commentary. Better one blow with a pickaxe than 1,000 taps with a mattock. Verse. Formerly, when way and book were not yet confused, I hear on one side the humming of bees. Now on my horse, with my sword in hand, I have perfect oneness on the way of truth. 12. Case. The national teacher called his assistant 3 times, and 3 times his assistant replies, "I'm here, I thought," says the matter. "I had transgressed against you, but in fact it is you who have transgressed against me." Commentary. Only the one who drink know exactly whether the drink is warm or cold. Verse. Both parties have the same talent. On whom can we rely for compassion? My lungs and entrails are available for your inspection, but I alone know my true situation. 13. Case. Đại Quy say, The concept being and non-being are like clinging vines that cannot survive on a great tree. So Son replies, if the tree is cut down, if the vines are dried out, where will the concept being and non-being go? Daiqui walked out with a great burst of laughter. Commentary: water remains in the sea, the moon is in the sky. Verse: the sea is calm when the wind stops blowing. Still, we search outside of ourselves. One burst of laughter dissipates 1,000 doubts. Peers are distinguished from the stone. Case. But Thương asked Nam Tuyên, what is the Dharma preaches for the non-benefit of people? Nam Tuyên answers, it isn't the mind, it isn't the Buddha, it isn't anything. Commentary: thousands of wise ones have searched, but the Dharma has left not a single trace. They're all hiding in great space. Verse: the koans is there, standing before you. Face it squarely, look at it. Do you understand? When invited to stay in the Buddha's hut, we always refuse. We are too used to sleeping among the roses. 15. Case. Nam Tuyên says, mind is not the Buddha, wisdom is not the way. Commentary: I yearn for the soul of marvelous truth. Coming back to myself, I walk beneath the shining moon. Verse: stars move with silent sound. The universe is calm, nothing brings trouble. Leaning on the staff, I climb up to the terrace. Perfect tranquility, nothing whatsoever is happening. 16. Case. To instruct his disciple, Master Lam Te used only a stick. Each time he sees a monk, he shouts. Commentary: at noon, on the 5th day of the 5th month, all the portion of the mouth and tongue are neutralized. Verse: having scarcely arrived at the door, one hears the yell. Children and adolescents wake up. The first thunderclap in spring. Everyone the green bud bursts forth on the branches. 17. Case. Master Nam Tuyên says, every day through thought is the way. Commentary: if it is cold, say cold. If it's warm, say warm. Verse: the precious stone had an immaculate nature. Its beauty doesn't depend on the work of a good jeweler. If the road back is not followed, you may fall deep into the valley. 18. Case. Master Chiu Chou says, you are controlled by the 24 hours of a day. I control the 24 hours of the day. Commentary: he called himself a master, and yet he despises people. His speech has no basis whatsoever. Verse: the old man kids himself. He says he can tame fiery dragons and ferocious tigers 24 hours a day. In fact, if one knows how to change iron into gold, he won't go telling everyone he meets in the street. 19. Case. A monk questioned Lam Te, what is the true person of no rank? Lam Te replies, dried excrement. Commentary: aiming at the sparrow with an unloaded rifle, hitting a mouse with a stick he doesn't want to sting. Verse: the true person of no rank is nothing but right agreement. How practitioners must be led astray by such teaching. Look and consider again. Don't you see it yet? When the clay buffalo walks in the sea, there are no footprints. 20. Case. Master Tiu Chou says, I have found the old lady of the Ngũ Đại Sơn mountain. Commentary. Whoever has committed the 5 major crimes is forbidden to cover his ear when thunder roars. Verse: in the wink of an eye, Ngũ Đại Sơn mountain has disappeared. Without walking for days, one is certainly at home. If the war is ended and no one dreams of vengeance, what need is there of taking the soul from its sheath? 21. Case. Golden Buddhas cannot save the crucible, nor wooden Buddha the fire, nor clay Buddha the water. The true Buddha is sitting calmly in the sanctuary. Commentary. Mountains are mountains, rivers are rivers. Where is the Buddha? Verse: if Gương Xuyên picture has such renown, it is thanks to the power of Vương Duy. I also have talent, but why must I paint? Looking into space, see the moon, and I feel the cold freshness of the wind. 22. Case. Master Tiu Chou says, when I was at Hangzhou, I made a linen robe that weighed 7 pounds. Commentary. Hangzhou's radishes are okay, but Hangzhou's linen only upset people. Verse: what a very spectacular linen robe. How could Tiu Chou's bamboo trunk contain a robe like that? Even if you meticulously distinguish between 1½ ounce and a ½ ounce, you hold old 8-month brother up to scorn. 23. Case. On being asked if a dog has the Buddha nature, Tiu Chou replied, yes once and no another time. Commentary. 2 choices, 1 chance. Verse: when confronted by people, you can say yes or no. A single word routs whole army. He who boasts all his life of being brilliant is only an obscure relative to the true knight. 24. Case. Master Tiu Chou says, where the Buddha resides, do not stop. Where the Buddha doesn't, pass quickly by. Commentary. When water collects, it makes a pool. When a stick strikes the earth, it leaves its mark. Verse: deciding, not residing, the two don't reside at all. Words are never perfect. After the flower was held up to the assembly, the fact could be recounted. But in Buddha's country, one arrives without taking even a single step. 25. Case. Showing his bamboo cane, Master Tu Ngon says, call this a bamboo cane and you have entered my trap. Don't call it a bamboo cane and you fall into arrow. What do you call it? Commentary. Don't move. Whoever moves gets 30 blows. Verse. It is difficult to choose between can and non-can. Who can give a clear reply? The way is always there, but obstacles are always encountered. 26. Case. Among us Domsun, what is the Buddha? Domsun replies, 3 pounds of linen hanging on the wall. Commentary. To call Buddha a thing is not correct. Verse. What is the Buddha? The 3 pounds on linen Domsun hung on his wall. Even if people stop speculating, we still have to use things to point out the truth. 27. Case. What was great ancestor Bodhidharma's invention? Among us Hindu. Hindu answer. The liquor table before the spirit's shrine. Commentary. A lion's cub shouldn't run after an avalanche. Verse. When its roots are cut, the tree is felled. I tell you what I have seen with my own eyes, to say the great ancestor intention is the liquor table in front of the shrine, is to say, pants are trousers. 28. Case. National Master Volngep says, if a discrimination is made between enlightenment and non-enlightenment, even as fine as the tip of a hair, it will cause people to be reborn as horses and donkeys. The monk Bhattavardhana replied, even if this discrimination between enlightenment and non-enlightenment disappear, people will still be born horses and donkeys. Commentary. If you burn the forest, the tiger will flee. If you beat the bushes, the snake will be afraid. Verse. What a dumb statement. Why bother to beat the bushes to make snakes afraid? If you know the road to the capital, you won't have to ask anyone. 29. Case. Master Huinsha says to the assembly, the Honored One often speaks of their effort, intending to show people the way of emancipation, but how good you show a deaf, dumb, and blind man the way. If you hold up your whisk, he will not see it. If you tell him about sitting meditation, he won't hear it. If you try to get him to recite the sutras, he won't able to utter a single word. Commentary. When we are hungry, we eat. When we are thirsty, we drink. When it is cold, we cover ourselves. When it is warm, we fan ourselves. Verse. When we are sad, we cry, and when we are joyful, we laugh. Nose vertical, eyebrows horizontal. Hunger, thirst, warmth, and cold are natural. Why create problems that don't exist? 30. Case. Master Thich Nhat Hanh often said to himself, wake up, don't let anyone despise you for another moment. Commentary. It is too much trouble to cry until blood starts to gush from your mouth. It is much better to shut up and wait until spring has passed. Verse. Thich Nhat Hanh often said to himself, wake up, but he wasn't truly courageous. If he was really such a hero, why didn't he grab the sun and throw it down onto the earth? 13.1. Case. I will enter the world of politics. said Thich Nhat Hanh, and a great statesman will arise. But I will not enter the world of politics for him, Hung Hoa replied. If a great statesman should arise, I won't enter the world of politics. But if I were to enter the world of politics, I could do it for him. Commentary. A blind tortoiser encounters two paralyzed present. Verse. If you are thirsty, don't drink dirty water. Food alone won't fill your stomach. If a child licks the sugar of a knife, he might well cut his tongue. (32) Case. When Dang An Phong arrives, Master Nam Tuen show him a vase and say, "This vase is an object, don't be attached to it." Commentary. If an object exists, what is there to be attached to? Verse. The clearness of the mirror has nothing to do with dust. Why work so hard to get rid of dust? Just enjoy each moment. When you finish your dinner, have a cup of tea. 33. Case. Master Tat Joe says, "It cannot be left thus. It cannot be left thus. It can neither be left thus nor not be left thus." Commentary. Everything is impermanent. Suffering exists. Verse. I have a touching story to tell you, but please wait until this cloud passes out grotto. Otherwise, even if I tell the story perfectly, the distance between us will still the 10,000 miles. 34. Case. Among us, Master Zapshen. How is it, Zapshen's world? Carrying his little one in his arm, the monkey returned to his virgin forest, while the flower petal covered the ground of the green valley. Commentary. Take a can with you, and you will tap dance everywhere there are people. Verse. No one have visited the distant world of Zapshen, but you must do so. Those who are enlightened, who see through the eyes of great wisdom, can see noon at midnight. 35. Case. Among us, Master Muk Chow, can the entire Buddhist canon be read in the time of one breath? Muk Chow replies, if Tatla, the cake seller, comes by, tell him to come in. Commentary. One arrives home without even walking. Verse. The canon read in the time of a breath. No need to consider each word or phrase. The deepest truths disclose themselves naturally. Don't even ask the hermit on the hill. 36. Case. One day, in the presence of Master Lamte, two senior monks started to yell at each other at the same time. A novice asked Lamte, in the present case, is there a distinction between the consulter and the consulted? Lamte replied, both are here. Commentary. White monkeys with bizarre gesticulation. Verse. The voice of the enlightened one can be heard in the wind. The meaning of koans is outside. Lamte knows how to measure land and rice paddies. He divides them into lots and distributes them into everyone. 37. Case. Master Huyn Sa said, I am like the owner of a piece of land, and at the center I have planted a tree, so I want to sell the land but keep the tree. Commentary. The great ocean isn't big enough for a single corpse. Verse. Even if you are enlightened, even if thoughts have ceased to assail you, there still remains one more point to resolve. Is it correct to consider gold and silver as dust? (38) Case. Among us, Master Huetu, what is the essence of Buddhism? Huetu replied, what is the price of rice at Lulang? Commentary. The shadow of bamboo sweeps the floor of the veranda, but the dust doesn't move. The moon is reflected in the water, but there is no trace left on the surface of the pond. Verse. The speech is worthy of a warrior. It corresponds well to the mentality of the people and helps them on the way of liberation. What is the price of rice at Lulang? If you knew that, you could no longer have to cross the distance of 1,000 miles. 39. Case. Among us, one thứ viên minh, all things enter the one, but what does the one enter? One thứ replies, the Hoang Ha River has 9 sections. Commentary. The countryside was so beautiful, I didn't realize my boat had already passed Thương Châu. Verse. I tell you of the 9 sections of the Hoang Ha River to help you to return home without having to cross such a great distance. But you haven't taken your eyes off the outstretched net, so don't even notice the birds passing overhead. 40. Case. Master Nam Tuyen asked Tiu Châu, Novice, do you have a master? Tiu Châu answered, yes, I already have a master. Nam Tuyen asked, what does it mean to have a master? Tiu Châu rubs his hand and replies politely, today it is cold. I hope the Venerable One enjoys the greatest well-being. Commentary. For someone with agile hands, needless can replace kugels. Verse. While rubbing his hands, Tiu Châu shows us that which stands between the two extremes of consulter and consulted. It isn't Hualam's and Hanlin's subterfuge if Hoy has retired from the contest. 41. Case. Among us, Master Mok Am, it is said that the monk's robe, made of scraps of cloth, is not worth very much. What does that mean? A needle, replied Mok Am, cannot go through it. Commentary. In the perfect state of meditation, all discriminations are absent. Even a thread cannot find its way in empty space. Verse. The monk's robe is soft like snow, but needles of steel cannot pierce it. Space is one, without a crack. But by what road does the scent of these cinnamon flowers come to us at the end of the day? 42. Case. The layman Lung declare this is Buddha's examination. Those who pass the test of emptiness will be declared winners. Commentary. For your name to be on the list of winners, don't leave blank pages. Verse. Can one make straw sandal with the feathers of a bird? Can one become Buddha by taking part in this strange competition? Stay on guard. Don't go and say that you will be crowned after you have passed the test of emptiness. If do so, sooner or later you will receive great blows of a stick. (43) Case. Master Tuming asked Zen Tu, "What is the essence of Buddhism?" Zen Tu replies, "Clouds that form at the peak of the mountain don't exist, but the reflection of the moon in the water does." Tumen Ras, "You have been practicing for so many years, and you still answer so stupidly." Zen Tu began to weep, and a moment later says to Tumen, "It is obvious that I don't know what the essence of Buddhism is. I beg you to clarify it to me." Tumen declares, "The clouds that are formed at the peak of the mountain don't exist, but the reflection of the moon in the waters does." Hearing these words, Zen Tu is transformed and reaches enlightenment. Commentary. Compassionate ones think it is humanism. Wise ones think it is erudition. Verse. The music you play is equally mine. Good friends know each other thoroughly. Mountain above, river below, but moon and clouds remain the same. Additional reading. For a catalogue of all books and tabs by Thich Nhat Hanh, or a current schedule of his lecture and retreat worldwide, please contact Parallax Press, Community of Mindful Living, P.O. Box 7355, Beckley, CA 94707. Thich Nhat Hanh is a Vietnamese Zen master, a poet, a spokesman for the Vietnamese Buddhist peace movement. In the 1967, he was nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize by Martin Luther King Jr. He is the author of several books, including Peace is Every Step, The Miracle of Mindfulness, and Being Peace.